Welcome, folks. Here we are in chapter 22 in the book of St. Matthew. All right, so we have this parable of the king's son. This is actually over this going to the Gentiles and the shameful amount of people that don't believe, okay, that are Hebrew, okay. And again, we're not condemning all of them. We're not talking about the remnant. We're talking about as a nation. So that parable's being taught here, and it's also being taught that it's going to the Gentiles. We have the parable of the wedding, okay, and there's that marriage supper. Now that is a real event, but yet it's allegoric here. So I know that may sound to a beginner that's mixing you up, but it shouldn't. In other words, in an event like marrying the New Jerusalem kingdom that's coming to earth, that's beyond what we would know of in the physical world. It's such a great event. It's beyond what we can imagine. Okay. Then there's the thing about paying Caesar. Then there's talk of the resurrection, because when we're talking about the Sadducees, that's a big sect there in the temple that don't believe in any resurrection, any spiritual world. They don't believe in angels. They literally are eat, drink, and be merry. Tomorrow you die. Literally. Carnal people. Okay, so anyway, they talk about the greatest commandment. We've been talking about that. And then some more conversations here with the Pharisees. So here we are in 22, a number of new beginnings. 777. Start the fourth 7. That's 22. That's God's numbers. And now he's going to speak another parable against these guys. And Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Okay, now this is directly against the people that don't believe there in the temple. For it says again, he sent forth another servant, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come to the marriage. Okay? Now he talks about this marriage supper of the Lamb throughout the whole Bible here, so this is nothing new, but it's being used here in the proper manner against the people that don't believe. They've been called. What do they do? What do these mockers do? But they made light of it and went their ways. One to his farm, another to his merchandise. Okay? So there we are with worldly things. We don't want that marriage supper of the Lamb. I'm too busy. See? 6, it says, And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. So there they are again. Here comes the prophets. Here comes the people that are trying to get you to fear the Lord. And what do? You do the same thing again. You kill them. 7, it says, But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burnt up their city. Okay, that's a similitude, but actually, look at it. It's in 7 here. It's in a Shabuel. All right, and that is the second coming, folks. 8, it says, Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Okay? Now that term's used right in Revelations and throughout the whole Bible. Okay? Worthy. That's an important word. 9, it says, Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. Okay, there it is. There's Paul and all the apostles going across the firmament of the earth to the four corners of the world, and they're going to tell every soul. Even Christ going down and preaching in Sheol for 3 days. 10, it says, So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. Okay, so that's a similitude of the progress of Christ's kingdom and how it went to the Gentiles. 11 is a new paragraph. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. Okay, now I'll go back to your garments, folks. This is all about the Holy Ghost covering. So you'll never be at this wedding without the Holy Ghost clothing here. Okay, so anyway, 11. And when the king came to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. 13. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. There's that same statement again. And notice here, you can't be at the wedding without the Holy Ghost apparel. You just can't do it. So that's why we keep saying that we need to gain the Holy Ghost. That's what will get us through the door. That's what will get us our victory, folks. Nothing else. 15 is another new paragraph. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians. There we go. This so-called king with his cult here, the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. See, this is all twisted Bible statements. That's what they do, and they do it today, folks. They get little bits of our doctrine and twist them up, and that's what they're doing here in 16. But in 17, tell us, therefore, what thinkest thou? ? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? ? 18, but Jesus perceived their wickedness, and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? ? Shew me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, Whose is this image and superscription? ? 21, they say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. Okay. So, like I said, these people in their prosperity preaching keep taking these coins to Caesar or whoever they put on there, and that's how you're going to get through the door, by giving them your money. Folks, God don't need your coins. He don't need your pieces of gold. That is not of God. What he wants is spiritual gifts. He wants you. You're the gold. You're the fruit. He wants you to be tried in the fire and come out with your Holy Ghost garment. And that's the gold that he wants, not this stuff to Caesar. Okay, but anyway, he turned that trick question right on top of their head. 22. When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. The same day, in a new paragraph, came to him the Sadducees. Now, folks, this gets a little bad here. Okay. It's a terrible, terrible way to put this. You can see how sick these people are. New paragraph in 23. The same day came to him the Sadducees, or Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him, Master, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, this is the one shoe law out of the law of Moses, folks. If a man die having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up seed unto his brother. Okay, that's the blessing of children, folks. And that was in the law. 25. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. 26. Likewise the second also, and the third unto the 7th. 27. And last of all the woman died also. 28. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? Question mark. For they all had her. Are they sick or what? Folks, they are some sick puppies. 29. Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the Scriptures, nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. So there's your Melchizedek flesh, folks. 31. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham. This is in Exodus 3:6. And the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. So, again, they're going to get a resurrection, and it's called the second resurrection. It's called the second death, and that's the day of judgment when they go to hell. We're not part of that day of the dead, folks. They don't know the Scriptures at all, but here they are hanging out in the temple, and they do have a philosophy. It's called eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow we die. Cover yourselves in lilies today. This is our portion, because when we die, we have a little spark in us, and our soul empties up into the air and floats away. That's their doctrine, the Sadducees. Anyway, God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. Yeah. 33. And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. Doctrine. 34. New paragraph. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Question mark. 37, Jesus saith unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. That's right out of Deuteronomy 6:5. This is the first and great commandment. 39, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now I go back to that forgiveness on the cross. I go back to that forgiveness that Stephen, when he was being stoned for telling the truth, how he prayed for those people that were stoning him. Love thy neighbor as thyself. 40. As back into Jesus' words here, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. 41. New paragraph. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them. 42, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, the son of David. Okay, so they don't know their book of Psalms here. 43, he saith unto them, How then doth David in spirit, see, that's the Holy Ghost now that wrote all this, call him Lord, saying, okay, the Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. That's Psalms 110, verse 1. Okay, so what we're talking about is the father-son relationship there, and the Father said this in the Old Testament. Okay, so there's that. And here Jesus goes back to speaking to them. If David then call him Lord, how is he his son? Okay, so what he's telling you, he's the Son of God. Anyway, 46, and no man was able to answer him a word, neither durst any man from that day forth ask him any more questions. So how do you like that teaching, folks? All right. I appreciate everybody studying with me. We're going to keep it up. We're going to keep pouring these podcasts on here. I hope you're getting a lot out of them. I'm getting a lot out of them. Here at the table, we're getting a lot out of them. It's a great teaching tool. It was a good idea. I'm glad we did it, and we're going to keep pouring it on. See you in chapter 23, folks. Thank you.